There are pros and cons to every decision made in life, and the decision to become a mortgage broker business owner is no different. There are many advantages to going out on your own as a mortgage broker, but there's also some disadvantages that should be talked about. So in this video, we're going to discuss the pros and cons of becoming a mortgage broker so that you can make an informed decision about your future. Hi guys, my name's Megan, and I've been a loan officer for 20 years, with the last 12 of those years owning my own mortgage brokerages and other mortgage service businesses. So in this video, I just wanted to give you some insight into what it's like opening a brokerage, going out on my own, and just really share the pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages. In 2013, the year I became a broker owner, I did not have any time to think about what would go well if I opened a mortgage company, as well as what could go wrong. And oh boy, can things go wrong sometimes. I was happy being a loan officer, closing loans, collecting big checks. I never imagined that in the blink of an eye, a decision would be made for me that pushed me into what is now my dream come true. So I walked into the office just on top of the world just one morning in June, and I had just competed in the CrossFit Games. Me, I'm a mother of two. I was 32 years old, thought I was a badass. Climbing ropes, doing 100 pull-ups in one workout. Didn't bother me in the slightest that my pipeline had shrunk and it was the lowest it had ever been in my 8 years at that point due to training for this fun event that I wanted to do. The owner of the brokerage I worked for did notice that my pipeline had been, going down and down, and he formed a conclusion that I was planning my empire building behind the scenes of opening my own brokerage. Therefore, when I strolled in that Monday morning, I had no idea what was waiting for me on the other side. It only took about 10 minutes to get the news that I would no longer be working at that brokerage and have to exit the building. Like, what? Like, I was dumbfounded. But I was a little curious as to what caused this decision that he made. And I had been the top producer for years, and I hadn't done anything wrong or deceitful. I'd also thought about leaving before, even met with recruiters or other owners to find out what was out there, but I had no plans. When I didn't get the memo fast enough to exit the building that morning, I had my little Jerry Maguire moment. My loan processor stood up and made the decision to walk out with me. The police were called. And then another loan officer who worked closely with me came scrambling out 5 minutes later. And did I mention that there was a closing taking place during all of these festivities? That was the day that I made the decision to become a business owner. I also got served my first lawsuit that week. It was so much fun, but I survived, and I wouldn't change a thing if I had to go back. In 2013, when all this happened, things were really different than they are today. There were no Facebook groups, organizations like AIM like there are today. And when I say I was winging it, I was completely and totally guessing at everything that I needed to do starting my business. After 8 years of limitations, not making decisions that were needed to grow my business, I had a blast growing year after year for the next 5 years being a broker owner. And I doubled the number of loans I closed from 150 to 300 units just by having the freedom to make my own decisions that I needed to for me, my team, and my community. But it wouldn't be fair or honest to not tell you about all the things that really sucked getting there. So I'm going to lay it out for you, the things that made me dance when no one was looking because it was exciting, and then the crap that almost had me leave the business altogether. So let's start with what were the advantages of opening and growing my own mortgage brokerage. And I do stand behind the statement that there are more advantages than disadvantages to owning a mortgage brokerage. Even though it was hard at times to see that, here are just some of my favorites. So the first one is unlimited creative opportunity. So I remember when I worked at a retail lender in between all of this in 2008, and during the first 6 months at this lender, our team onboarded. And we couldn't get our website, our flyers, our Facebook ads approved, no matter what we tried. The marketing system that had generated business for us for years, it didn't fit inside the retail lender's box. And so we therefore could not get support or approval from the company. It was maddening, and it led to many fights and arguments. And our business took a nosedive during those 6 months, which caused even more tension. So this does not happen when you own your own brokerage. You decide what and how and when you want to market. You want to start a podcast? Go ahead. Just have to follow the rules. The second thing is The initial investment and the startup costs are lower than many other types of small businesses that you could open. Offering a service means that there's no inventory, no special specifications you need to follow. If it is just you and let's say an assistant, you could get away with opening your brokerage with $10,000 to $15,000. The larger your team, the more you'll need to have to use as a starting point. But even with a team of 5, when I started, I was able to get going, pay salaries, purchase furniture, sign up for accounts that we needed for around $50,000. So if you have a book of business already, the third thing is that you have a much lower risk of failure opening a mortgage brokerage if you already have a business that you've built than if you open any other type of business that you have no experience in. All you need to do is create projections, a pro forma, and you can see exactly how much business you need to close to break even in a month and how much you will make if you hit your big, hairy goals. So I still do this today with our brokerage, and I love comparing it to how financials actually look each month. Not recently, though. Fourth thing, network of other brokers. So unlike the Lone Ranger, I felt like when I started my business in 2013, there are groups and networks out there that you can plug into today. I see questions being asked about who to use for this type of service, for your bond, what wholesale lender is the best at this or that, and many other questions that get shared in these collaborative communities. And the last one I was going to mention is complete control over what your commission checks go towards, who you hire, and the products that you offer. No matter what you hear or what someone says, you have complete control over the way you run your business and how you close your loans. Like I said, you want to start a podcast? Simply order the gear from your commissions. You want to hire a virtual assistant from the Philippines? Do it. Build a website, use a template. The choice is yours. Use 10 lenders or stick to 2, your decision. Run a daily pipeline meeting with your team, whatever you feel is best. And of all the advantages that exist owning your own brokerage, having the control to build your business, that you always wanted to do it in a certain way, and it's by far the most satisfying part of the experience. We went over all the best stuff. Let's talk now about the disadvantages of opening a mortgage brokerage. Now, I won't sugarcoat the things that really sucked while growing our business. Deciding to be your own boss is not for the faint of heart. It is a grueling and at times very frustrating experience. Just when you think you found the answer to a problem, another one pops up. As soon as you handle the most pressing personnel issue, someone comes to you with another thing that is bothering them. There are days I feel like I am losing my stinking mind. You don't have access to structured support when you open your own brokerage. And although the industry has come a really long way and there are many more services that you can outsource as a mortgage broker, like licensing, there still is not anything that gives you a complete roadmap all in one place. And it was why that we launched our course, Mortgage Broker Fast Track. It's the first of its kind in the industry, and it's helping loan officers avoid many of the mistakes and disadvantages that we talked about in this video. And I did put a link in the description if you want to check it out or schedule a discovery call to learn more about what is inside of this course and how it can help you. The third thing, or the next thing, is there is no one all-in-one system for organizing your pipeline in the banks that you work with, and it is at times easier to only have to worry about one lender if you were at a retail bank. Only one way of reading guidelines and one answer. As a mortgage broker, the advantage of being able to get more clients approved, have more products, and discover solutions comes with complications. You and your people have to learn many ways, many lenders, many portals, many variations. And so it's why we really dug in and figured out a way to have one pipeline view that's automated. Another disadvantage is the learning curve of running and owning a business. Most of you out there are loan officers. If you become a mortgage broker owner, you have never owned or run a business. This means there's a pretty steep learning curve ahead of you. You might have the most incredible loan origination skills in the world, but have you ever had to manage an audit with a state examiner when you didn't have everything they needed? Have you ever had to come up with comp plans to encourage talent, reward strong operational team members? Have you ever had to develop team building activities to help forge stronger relationships together on your team? Or have you ever had to ensure that the marketing going out is compliant and generating business? So whether you succeed or fail is the last thing. It's 100% on you. There are no more excuses that the rates really suck at this company or your manager isn't giving you the ability to add the products that you need. If things go sideways on a loan, you need to explain to the referral partner what happened at your company. The loan officers that work for you will have expectations of you. The truth is that no matter what decision you make or where you choose to go or stay, you are going to experience the good with the bad. You'll make mistakes, you'll get frustrated, you will achieve things that are beyond what you ever imagined. But some of the best questions just to ask yourself as you make your final decision about, should I go out on my own, should I open a brokerage, is, do you have a consistent book of business that you can springboard off of? Do you know how to figure out the numbers to hold yourself accountable to make sure you break even and are above that? If you're going to be originating like I was when we started, do you have a strong operational person to help put all the pieces together for you on the back end? Do you have a network of other loan officers you can reach out to and ask questions about their experience? Is there an investment that you can make in your future that will help you save time, save money and mistakes as you start your journey, like the Mortgage Broker Fast Track course? So just being completely honest, I would not do anything other than owning my own mortgage brokerage now that I have the ability and the experience, the freedom to create the business of my dreams. So if you want to check out any of our live sessions to learn more about becoming a mortgage broker, opening your own brokerage, then make sure you subscribe to our channel because we have a lot of good information coming your way. And if you have any questions I didn't answer, please leave them in the comments. I bet others have the same questions that you do. And you can also schedule a free discovery call with the link in the description with someone on our team. Otherwise, I can't wait to see you next time.